The NBA, and we talk about the Super Six. Well, the date has been set, and well, for some teams, they're not sure if they are, automatically qualified for the Super Six of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Well, remember last night for Leicester City, they were one leg into relegation, one leg into the Premier League. And for Liverpool, they look like a team that is already, more optimistic of playing European top football game. But let's go on the break, and when we return, we start with tennis. This morning, Carlo Alcaraz is out of the Italian Open. Who defeated Alcaraz? We'll let you know. Remember, we're live on Facebook, facebook.com/solutions939FM, facebook.com/solutions939FM, same as our YouTube channel, Solutions939FM. Do not go anywhere. Okay, starting the West Carlo Alcaraz suffering a shock loss to lowly ranked Hungarian Fabian Maruzan in the third round of the Italian Open in Rome. Alcaraz will take over from Novak Djokovic as world number one, but his French Open preparation suffered a blow with a 6-3-7-6 loss to 135th ranked Maruzan. But hey, let's look at some games decided yesterday, and looking at the games going down today. Alex de Minaur, Jason Kobla through to the next round in the doubles. Bona Koric defeated Roberto Carbelas Biena 7-6-6-1 as Yannick Hoffman, Fabian Maruzan, Andrei Rublev, Ugo Niz, Jan Zelinsky, Jose Sansri, and Rajiv Rami the doubles, same as Dani Medvedev through to the next round of the Italian Open in Rome. Games are going down today. Jamie Murray and Mark Venus moving to the next round of that tournament, and they were able to walk over Andrei Rublev and Karen Chakinov in the doubles. Well, Novak Djokovic, who has dropped from the world number one, will be up against Cameron Norrie by 10 o'clock this morning. Well, there will be a continuation of the clash between Alexander Zverev and Jeffrey John Wolf, same as the game between Lorenzo Musetti and Francis Tiafoe, including Stefano Tsitsipas, Wester Lorenzo Sonego. Well, more games to go down today in the doubles and singles. But for the singles, 12:15 we'll see the battle between Laszlo Jarry and Casper Ruud, while Andrei Rublev will be up against Yannick Hoffman. Francisco Curindolo will be up against Jannik Sinner, while Bona Koric will take on Fabian Maruzan, who etched Carlo Alcaraz. And that game is going down 6 o'clock. Now, looking at the WTA category of the Italian Open, doubles will start by 10 o'clock, where Miyu Kato will team up with Eureka Akadi against Demi Scar and Desiree Cards. All the doubles games, Storm Hunter will team up with Elisa Mertens to battle Victoria Azarenka and Beatrice Haddad-Maia, with Magdalene Yet by 12 o'clock teaming up with Marketa Vondrousova to take on Ludmila Ketnok and Jelena Ostapenko. In the singles lineup, 12:30 today, Iga Swiatek will take on Donna Vekic, while Paulo Badoza by 2 o'clock will be up against Karolina Munkova, as Veronika Kudermetova will take on Queng Zhang, with Beatrice Haddad-Maia battling Hatlina Kalnina by 6 o'clock. We've got tournaments going down in France at the Bordeaux ATP Challenger, same as in Portugal, that is Ores 4 ATP Challenger. In Turin, Italy, the ATP Challenger is also going down starting 9 o'clock this morning. In Tunisia, the Tunis ATP Challenger is also going down. One female tennis, the WTA tournament going down in Italy. That is the Florence WTA Challenger also going down this morning starting 9 o'clock. Moving away from tennis this morning, let us see what is happening in the world of basketball. Okay, so let's go straight and tell you that starting tomorrow will be LA Lakers Denver Nuggets clash in their series final. Their conference final. While Miami Heat will be up against the Boston Celtics. That will be on Thursday. So, well, for those of you who have been clamoring also to know who leads their conference at the end of the day, well, you know where I belong. It is for LA Lakers, right? Wishing the two teams all the best. Well, more updates will be coming from that end on this dial. We'll move to the other side of the show where we talk football for the NPFL Super 6 start date. The final, some teams already buckling up for it. The Super 6, the likes of Bendel Insurance are buckling up. They're already through to the Super 6. We know Ramo Stars and some other teams are looking like, okay, the last game of the season will surely determine if they are good to go or not. Well, remember, guys, we're live on Facebook, facebook.com/solutions939FM, facebook.com/solutions939FM. Okay, so for the Nigeria Premier Football League update for the Super 6, it's to kick off on 3rd of June according to the IMC, the Interim Management Company, and the competition which will determine the winner of the 2022-2023 season will end on 11th of June according to the update we got on Monday. But now let's also let you know that Rivers United, well, also tightening their grip on moving and qualifying for the Super 6. Actually defeating Sunshine Stars of Akure 1-0 yesterday at the Adoke Amesimeka Stadium. But now let's look at how some teams are already through, while some teams are also looking at the chances of the last game to see if they'll be through. Although one team has a game in hand in Group B, but let's look at the Group A, most especially with the way the table looks like. Bendel Insurance has 33 points. With the way they are through to the Super 6, winning 8 games out of 17 matches, drawing 9 and yet to lose a game. They're unbeaten this season with a game to go, and maybe Nasarawa United. a team that is already, can we say they are relegated? Well, based on goals, it depends on goals that Kwara United concede. Oh, that is called. I mean, yes, they're relegated. Yes, I mean, even if they win the game, they have 16 points, and Kwara United has got 17 points. Yeah, so a relegated side, Nasarawa United, will be playing against Bendel Insurance, determining what's going to happen in this game is either Bendel Insurance lose their winning streak or their unbeaten run in the NPFL. But Bendel Insurance is already through to the next round. That is the Super 6. Aimba International has got a game to go. That is against Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan. Should they win that game, they will have 34 points. Ramos Stars placed forward with 30 points. They also need to win their game because Aqua United is breathing down their neck. So it is between Remo Stars and Aqua United to know who moves to the third sport and qualify for the Super 6. Remember, Remo Stars is playing Kwara United and Aqua United is playing Gombe United. Well, for Gombe United, they have nothing to lose as well. Should they lose the game or win the game? All right, that is what is obtainable in the Group A of the NPFL Super 6. So for Rivers United, have got 30 points. Lobby Stars has got 30 points. And Doma United has got 26 points. Here, Doma United has got a game in hand, same as Rivers United. So these two teams will have to play their game. And, meaning they have to play 2 matches. But for Lobby Stars having 30 points, they are playing their next game against Wiki Tourist of Bauchi. And for Wiki Tourist of Bauchi, Enugu Rangers has got 20 points in the 8th position. Wiki Tourist is 9th on the NPFL log. So looking at how dicey that one is, although Dakada is back home going to the NNL. So, well, the most interesting game or the game to, the group to watch out or to look for their matches is the Group B of the NPFL. But for me, I have to focus on Group A. I'm focusing on both though. If Remo Stars does not qualify, I know what some people will say. But let us move. We move this morning and let's check update talking about the CAF. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has approved the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium Uyo for the Super Eagles' next home game in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The Super Eagles played their 2 previous home games in the qualifiers against Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Well, the Abuja Stadium was not among the approved stadia listed by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, on Monday. The Super Eagles' next game of the qualifiers is an away clash against Sierra Leone on 18th of June. Now, the game will be decided at a neutral venue as no stadium in Sierra Leone was approved by CAF. The Super Eagles will host the Sao Tome and Principe in the final match of the qualifiers in September. And Joseph Pesero side top Group A of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers with 9 points and need a point for their next game against Sierra Leone to secure a place in Cote d'Ivoire. We're going to break in. When we return, we talk about the Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. Same as all the leagues this morning. Do not go anywhere. Kickoff Sports Show is still live.
For this Naija wey we dey so, say you no hold cash no mean say wahala dey o. You wan send money to Male for Villa, just use Momo. You wan buy recharge card or data plus jollificate 15% bonus when you recharge, just use Momo. You wan pay for market wey you buy, just use Momo. You fit use Momo run plenty things without cash. As long as you get Momo account, no cash, no wahala. And e dey easy to open o. Just dial *671# to open Momo account o. Set your PIN, transfer money from your bank account or inside your Momo account to fiam make you fit dey pay for anything, send and receive money sharp because life dey simple with Momo. You go jollificate 15% bonus anytime you recharge with Momo.
Saleko is a jungle. Everyone does what they must to survive.
Gangs of Lagos don land for Prime Video and na the #1 film, so make una go watch am. E get better stars like Toby Bakri, Adesuwa Tomi Wellington, Chike, Iyabo Ojo and more. Plus the gege action wey dem do for the film. Chai! Na for only Prime Video you fit watch Gangs of Lagos, and dem go first give you 7 days free trial. Terms and conditions dey o. Oh yeah, japa to Prime Video.
Your comfort is important. If you're looking for quality, classy, comfortable, and imported furniture, Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise is a place for you. At Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, we've got a wide range of top-notch imported furniture for you at affordable prices. Name it: sofas, royal marble dining set, executive furnitures of all kinds, banquet furniture, bed and dressing mirror, kitchen cabinet, and lots more. Our intention is to make you feel comfortable always by providing quality furniture, whether at home, office, hotel, lounge and bar, and so on. Hurry now. Contact us today at Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, shop number AA 80-20, Railway Shopping Complex, Aleshiloye Market, and shop 8A-11, Railway Shopping Line, by Alalubosa Junction, Iyagonku Railway Crossing, Ibadan. Call 0802-303-0550 or 0706-225-2649. Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, home of quality furniture made for you.
Hello, sir. Do you mind if I interview you quickly?
No. I don't get
Just
time.
a quick one, sir. If you get 1 million naira right now, what would you...
You say? First of all, hey, I go share this my phone. Oh. After that, I will come buy red bars, you understand? Then I'll come work well. Come block my landlord main office, see my status. God declare for the boys there. Levels all land with that.
Take off on a millionaire level and do as you like with the FCMB Millionaire Promo Season 9 by increasing your savings account balance by 10,000 naira and keeping it for 30 days in your FCMB account. And if you are a new customer, deposit 10,000 naira into your account and keep it for 30 days. And you could be one of the winners of ₦1 million and other amazing cash rewards. Approved by NLRC and FCCPC. FCMB, my bank and I.
News, sports, entertainment. Top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Alisson goes long. Hotfeiss has made a mess of that. It's going to come to Henderson. Salah. And arriving is Curtis Jones, who scores! Oh, he's popped up so well on that left-hand side for Liverpool in the last couple of weeks. And Curtis Jones scores again.
Well, it's just a bit of quality, isn't it? You might have a look at this. Diaz might have been given offside here. I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't a good picture to see there. Salah does ever so well. He picks the right pass at the right time, and the run is absolutely perfection.
What a turn that is by Gakpo. Taking Ndidi out of the game. Jones again! How about that? How about that? Curtis Jones is on fire!
Well, if this stands, it's quality. Lovely little turn by Gakpo.
Well, amazing. Curtis Jones, 2 in 2 minutes for Liverpool. And Johnny Evans-Hill did play him onside at this end of the ground a few years back. Now with a free kick, he's trying to do it again! It's another stellar moment from Trent Alexander-Arnold at the KP Stadium. It's a night where the Scousers have had the save for Liverpool. They've got all the goals, and Liverpool are cruising. The boos ring around Leicester City Stadium because they're in serious trouble. But for Liverpool, it's been a magnificent 7 wins, hasn't it?
Well, 3 points or 3 goals it was for Liverpool last night at the King Power Stadium, beating Leicester City, former champions. And at points I was thinking, okay, so Jones and Salah was creating assists. And imagine I had to cap. Okay, sorry, I capped Harry Kane, but I was expecting goals coming from, Mo Salah. But maybe not. Liverpool has awakened from their tomb. So here, a lot of people say, yes, Liverpool is back, Liverpool is back. Well, are they really back? Well, once a 3-0 demolition of Leicester City, maybe that could have been the result they worked for and expected from or against the Leicester City. Fifth is Liverpool on the Premier League globe with 65 points, and they've got 2 more games to go. They're playing against Aston Villa, and Jurgen Klopp is saying the game going back home, it is to also say farewell to Firmino, who's saying goodbyes at the end of the season.
Massively. 6-7 weeks ago, I didn't believe that can happen. What we lacked that time was obviously consistency, and there was only one chance for us to get in a situation we are in and winning pretty much all the football games, and that's what we had to do. It's crazy, but that's the situation we were in. So, yeah, that's good. We knew that before the game, if we win, we are qualified for Europe, for European League, which is absolutely great from where we are coming from. All the rest is not in our own hands, but we know we have to win all the games until the end of the season to have a chance. So we said it now a couple of times, I think pretty sure. Yes, probably United and Newcastle are not watching us, are confident it's all fine, but we were in similar situations, and you wish anyway that the opponent just is losing, and you have that off your shoulder, that kind of pressure off the shoulder.
Well, pressure off the shoulder of Jurgen Klopp. Solidifying the position and playing in Europe, and their next game will be against Aston Villa and at the Anfield, and the last game of the season will be against the relegated Southampton at the Emirates Stadium. So some players either to score hat-trick or double hat-trick. Well, and let's look at Leicester City's next 2 games. Well, a lot of people saying that Nigerian players in England, well, they have to think twice. So I'm saying wherever you have 2 Nigerian players or more, relegation is a ban. Well, Leicester City is 19th on the Premier League log, and Kelechi Iheanacho could not play the game yesterday. Remember, he was injured. But now Leicester City's next 2 games are against Newcastle United and West Ham United. And Newcastle United, remember, they have to also hold tight the grip of playing in Europe. West Ham United, well, everybody is looking for how to also, finish well at the end of the season. Well, West Ham United is 15th on the Premier League log with 37 points, and West Ham's game before Leicester City will be against Leeds. Remember, Leeds also need to move out of the drop zone. And playing against Newcastle United, that has Manchester United behind them and Liverpool. Okay. Whatever check you want to sign for Leicester City, or whatever statement you want to sign for them, we'll wait till the end of the last 2 games of the season. But now let's talk about the UEFA Champions League game going down tonight. Is the return leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final clash between 2 great teams in Italy. Well, 3-time European Cup UEFA Champions League winners Inter Milan inched 1 step closer to 4th crown with a 2-0 win over beaten rivals AC Milan in the first leg of the semi-final tie, and a 4-2 Serie A victory over Sassuolo on Saturday was a perfect warm-up for the next Derby della Madonnina, a fixture which Inter have recently excelled. With 10 wins from the last 15 meetings in all competitions, they've drawn 2 and lost 3. Well, looking at this game, we have 2 players you need to also, if you want to put your money on, we've got Edin Dzeko. Remember, he opened the scoring in the first leg, and well, it looks like a man who has developed a knack for scoring against Milan. Perhaps Olivier Giroud could be AC Milan's hero, as he's already scored a head-to-head goal this season. So, let us also look at some players already ruled out for this game. Well, Binaca has been ruled out due to injury for AC Milan, and for Inter Milan, Camoni, Dalbat, Skriniar, Zanotti, all ruled out. And well, the guys questionable for tonight's game. For Inter Milan, we've got Correa, Joachim Correa, who's questionable for tonight's game. For AC Milan, Florenzi, Krunic, Messias. These three players may jump into this game and may turn the tables around. But a lot of people always say that when you turn the tables around, maybe you can be anointed to lift the title in the final. But remember, this game is going to be played in Italy back-to-back. The first leg in favor of Inter Milan. Inter Milan is going back home. Well, it's the same pitch. But remember, tomorrow is also going to be another semi-final, a return leg, and it's going to be Manchester City versus Real Madrid. We'll talk more about that, and I've got a Real Madrid fan who will be joining me live live on the show tomorrow. Well, guys, we have to wrap up the show here. Move to the other side. We'll look at headlines on the pages of Nigerian newspapers. What is trending, and what do you have to say? These are what we have on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers. Well, we'd like to say a big shout out to Naala Danjuma, Taufik Akim Banuso, Mustafa Taiwo, watching live on Facebook this morning. Well, Anolu Akwadekule, shout out to you because today is your birthday. Enjoy more in life.
News, sports, entertainment. Top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn. Solutions 93.9 FM.
Radio is all about information, education, and entertainment.
Maybe that's before now. Solutions 93.9 FM has raised the standard of radio broadcast to preferring solutions in all human angle. 939 FM, the remedy.
News, sports, entertainment. Top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
We raise the spotlight on the different headlines of our national dailies.
This government, apart from giving that minimum wage of 30,000, which was a 6% rise.
We bring to you in-depth analysis on the major stories making the rounds.
And the CSOs to INEC account for 400 billion naira spent on general elections.
Interviews with political and government stakeholders.
There was a big push on export. We consume a lot. We need to be an economy that an export engine, and we need to be a production.
Every weekday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Remedy Dial, Solutions 93.9 FM. Welcome to From the Dailies with Favor, Dakwa, Laffy, and Victory. Let's talk about the state of the nation. Your voice matters.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning right here on the Remedy Dial, Solutions 93.9, exactly 31 minutes gone past 8, and it's time for us to look at the front pages of our Nigerian newspapers because there are a lot of stories trending, and that conversation will be bringing your way this morning. My name is Victory Richard. Good morning to you, Dapo.
Yeah, good morning to you, Victory, and well, it's good to be back on this side again this morning. And we're looking at trending stories on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers, most especially with what happened yesterday. Shehu Kuti submitting himself to the Nigerian police, and a lot of reactions concerning that. Maybe he should not have been handcuffed.
The law was broken, but I'm still trying to figure out the law.
Well, according to the Nigerian police, Hyundai saying that if a suspect looks like a threat to the society, he needs to be handcuffed. So you have to check the rules well. That's according to the Nigerian police. But we also have to look at other headlines here this morning. Ahead of the inauguration, the IGP is issuing warnings. But remember, we're live on Facebook, facebook.com/Solutions939FM. Facebook.com/Solutions939FM. You can as well watch us live via YouTube, Solutions 939 FM.
Yes, indeed. Be sure to also send in messages via WhatsApp or regular text to 0904-422-2939. We'll love to hear your thought as you react to some of these trending stories. You can also call in once the phone lines are open. The numbers are 0909-888-9939 or 0912-222-2939. Your voice matters, and we would love to hear your submission this morning. With that, let's get right into the papers. I'll be taking stories from the Nigerian Tribune and the Vanguard newspaper.
Well, have we made the Punch and the Nation newspapers?
Let's get right into it. Alright, let's begin with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And the first story I'll be taking here, Naira devaluation, orders pressure inflation rate to 22.2%. You will recall that this current administration met the inflation rate at 8.5%, but right now it's recorded at 22.2%. I'm sure you can see that from the food crisis and other economical effects that this has in our economy. All right, let's take more stories. Focus on debt management. Others, Okonjo-Iweala urges incoming government. I think that's a very wise statement because we're already indebted in so many ways, so you don't want to keep borrowing from international bodies. Right?
Okay, what of the money is borrowed?
That's what she's saying. Focus on the money that has been borrowed and look
back
for ways to pay back as opposed to borrowing more.
When you now, so if the incoming government is focusing on the money is borrowed, now how do you now want to even settle development in the first 2 years? Meaning you have to pay back the money borrowed by the outgoing government the first 2 years. The third year you now start development.
It's honestly a sad reality, but I think it's also a step in the right direction because once you have offsetted your debt, you can now focus on because I mean these debtors will come demanding for their money, especially if there's a window to make such payment. All right, let's look at more stories. Federal government kicks against bill to stop migration of doctors. So you would recall that there was an imposition on these doctors to serve the country for 5 years before they can move. Now they're kicking against such bill. I think the bill is at second reading right now. Right as to that, as medical doctors start strike tomorrow, resident doctors are going on a warning strike for 5 days. $120 billion dispute. Banks, telecommunication disagree on technical issues. Find that on page 26. Buhari should stop study leaves, orders Matawali. Is this impossible, or is this possible for the presidency? We'll find out with this incoming administration. Now to the biggest story on the Vanguard newspaper. North Central governors kick against zoning to meet Tinubu NWC. At this point, we're still having conversation on zoning for the 10th National Assembly. On the front page of the Vanguard, we have pictures of Seun Kuti in handcuffs. And the story says Seun Kuti submits self to the Nigerian police. US slams visa ban on unnamed Nigerians, undermining democracy. Other stories, Dangote refinery to meet 100% Nigeria's requirement. To health, WHO decries global rise in anemia as 571 women, 269 million children suffer. Just to remind you, tomorrow is World Hypertension Day, so we'll have medical doctors coming to the studio this morning to give us a thought on the preparation of the World Hypertension Day. They have a lot of plans in that regard, and just to give you an overview on hypertension, from low blood pressure to high blood pressure, and the implications that comes with that. So brace yourself for that conversation that will be happening very soon. And now to sports. Tottenham way up move for Iberici Eze. Petrol subsidy cost could be more than 1.3 trillion naira, FG admits. These are the stories on the front page of the Vanguard this morning.
Okay, going straight to the Punch newspaper this morning. Looking at the cap headlines. Pay rise. Resident doctors begin warning strike Wednesday. Look at the page 14 of Punch newspaper to get that story. US announces visa ban on Nigerian poll riggers. Others. Page 6 of Punch has that story. FG spends 13 trillion naira on subsidy, sets removal guidelines. Page 19 of Punch has that story. You can check that page to check the guidelines. And looking at the banner headline this morning from the Punch newspaper. Tinubu's inauguration. Military, IG, warn troublemakers as court hears anti-handover case. And the front page picture of the Punch newspaper has the son of a late Afrobeat legend, Fela Anikulapo Kuti's son, that is Seun Kuti. And the headline there says, Seun Kuti spends a night in custody. Please plan arraignment. And the way this picture, the pictures on the front page of Punch newspaper are being cropped has, Seun Kuti, when he submitted himself with a handcuff and, being arraigned, being paraded, taking the picture, and the middle picture has when Seun Kuti attacked a uniformed man, the police officer in Lagos, and the other side, the front face. And look at the set of headlines. Nollywood stars mourn as Murphy Afolabi is buried. Page 12. And Hilda's marathon cooking smashes world record, grabs global attention. Gridlock again. Commuters groan on Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I saw Prof. I saw him at the Lagos Ibadan Expressway, staying.
Charles Alade. Right?
Charles Alade, yes. And I was just like, sorry, bro. And later we saw pictures of how, cars hit each other right there, in Lagos on the highway. So those are the headlines we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Alright, away from the Punch, let's now move over to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning, beginning with this story. High food prices push Nigeria's inflation to 22.2%. Okonjo-Iweala warns government-elect or governors-elect against debt acquisition. Don't meddle in affairs of your successors, Saraki. And now to the biggest story on the Nigerian Tribune. NARS presiding officers, not central government faults APC zoning template. Yari adamant as more senators pledge support. More stories from the Nigerian Tribune. 228 buildings, 336 families affected by rainfall in Lagos, NEMA. We've been talking about preparation towards the rainy season because we're already, in that season. What is NEMA doing to mitigate the effects that we had with the floods last year, such that we don't, have a repetition of loss of lives and properties as we experienced in some part of the country, especially in the south region. Now we're already having recorded cases. Suspected terrorist blows up self to evade arrest in Kaduna. Court bars NYSC from further disclaiming Enugu governor-elect certificate. Police squeeze Shehu Kuti over assault and police officer. Case transferred to state CID. On 2023 polls, US imposes visa restrictions on election violators. IGP warns persons plotting to scuttle inauguration of new government. Manhunt launched for elements behind plot. Jubilation as Hilda Basi ends marathon cooking set 100-hour record. Her feat to be reviewed. Not yet official Guinness World Record. Nigerians should be patient. I went through some of the comments on her Guinness World Records page, and I saw Nigerians clamoring for them to retweet. Some already did designs with the logo of Guinness World Records, saying it's been official. Although she has received a tweet and a call from them stating that she has been accepted and her processes are going through review. And we saw it was during her live video when she was giving her vote of thanks for the support she received from Nigerians that she got a message from Guinness World Record. However, an official statement has not been made in that regard, so we should just all be patient. We saw that there were reviewers there were people who were making sure that these processes were recorded, so we don't have an issue of some things that happen in Nigeria sometimes.
Okay, and if you check the Twitter page of the Guinness World Records, maybe what people are seeing here is most especially when you look at those who check awards and those who give awards, there's this treatments they earn, they give to Africans or even Nigerians, most especially when they break or set records. So that's the reason. And Nigerians, instead of the organizers or the award givers, pushing us to one side, they will rather call them out first so that you must quickly give a statement. And with what Hilda did yesterday, she was able to not only break a record but also set a record that whoever that wants to break that will do a lot.
We'll have to think twice, actually.
Yes, so we've all been checking, and if you of the truth, if you look at the Guinness World Record, look at the guys that have been some of the guys that they've also been posted. None of them are Africans. Look.
These are just
so that's the reason.
Attempts. I understand the pessimism from Nigerians because just like you've rightly mentioned, we've seen cases where some of our athletes who broke records and their time.
They have to search
of their time. But we also saw a tweet from one of our Nigerian superstar, Kafi, who came out to say even the time she broke her own record, at the time she broke her record, it went through processes of review before it was officially announced. So I would just say we should, wait and see. But definitely, this record has been broken, whether anybody likes it or not. And we celebrate her for that.
Another funny thing is, when you see some awards given out by the Guinness World Record, you feel like there's some things that some of these European guys do, and does it worth celebrating? If you look at someone, look at this, someone who holds record for the biggest female mouth gap, widest mouth.
It's a gift.
I don't understand.
It's a gift.
And we have the tallest man it goes back to the tallest man in Nigeria or in Africa, and who's battling for his life, and nothing has been done. If you could notice someone like that, and if that such person goes on social media that is suffering from this and that, even for Guinness World Record, you also, go through this.
Make an attempt.
Yes, that's not. It's not only about awarding, but also seeing how these people can also enjoy life.
And that's why people have questioned the essence of this award. So it's just based off recognition. You're not being paid any incentive, over time or at the reception of the award. So it's sometimes people say, what's the need of going for this? But I mean, to be globally recognized is something to laud and just be excited about.
I mean, if you're recognized based on education, if you're recognized on education, you are recognized in sports, you're recognized in health. Is not a bad thing. I mean, in other categories, but I mean in other spheres. But come on, this. Well, let's just check the Nation newspaper this morning and look at some headlines here. I just not like I'm trying to sound like the guys dragging the Guinness World Record guys, but assault on inspector detained Seun Kuti may undergo drug test. And NBS puts April inflation rate at 22.22%. Life outside power is challenging, Igbinedion. Saraki tells outgoing governors. US, we've sanctioned those who undermined elections. 13 trillion naira spent on subsidy in 16 years, says the federal government. And the banner headline this morning, IG warns subversive elements against plot to derail May 29. And the writer to this headline says, political actors conspiring to stop inauguration of President-elect Tinubu governors. CBN decries telecoms operators bank face off over USSD. Now, federal government approves 37 new private universities. Nigerians spend $1.2 billion on medical tourism yearly, says minister. This and more are the headlines you can find in the Nation newspaper this morning. So, we'll go straight to some of the big stories this morning, same as the burning issue. And the course of the program, we'll be joined by our analysts who will be joining us virtually as we await our guest this morning.
Yes.
Right?
So we'll be having a conversation on hypertension, like I rightly mentioned. So if you have questions in that regard, you can do well to send in your questions via WhatsApp or regular text to 0904-422-2939. You can drop them as well on Facebook at Solutions 939 FM. So this morning, we're going to be heading to... Yes, you can also tweet at us at Solutions 939 FM. Let's begin with some of the biggest stories this morning as we get to join our analysts for deeper insight and analysis to these stories.
Okay, so let us start with that of Seun Kuti. A lot of people have different angles to this. He was pictured. I mean, when he surrendered himself and was handcuffed and had his shoes taken off, police have their different angles to that. But Dr. Cornerstone is here this morning to share his opinion concerning this, same as other headlines, to also analyze for Nigerians to understand. Dr. Cornerstone, top of the morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Good to have you here.
Understood.
It's also good to go and leave and come back. Yeah. It's been a long time. So let's start with Seun Kuti this morning. Some felt that if Seun Kuti, for him to have surrendered himself for questioning, he shouldn't be handcuffed. And he shouldn't be paraded that way. But Nigerian police is saying, okay, someone who's like a threat to the society should be handcuffed. And with the way things are going, we discussed something yesterday that should Seun Kuti, win this investigation, maybe at the end of the day, this may give Nigerians the audacity to attack men in uniform. And we also heard a report that he paid the man, the police officer,
12,000
naira.
Although it's been also said that 20, not 12, for the damage done to his vehicle.
And another thing, Seun Kuti's manager said the police officer was, they noticed that he was drunk. So
that's why a drug test will be conducted. And there's a follow-up update to that. Nigerian police starved musician Seun Kuti for refusing to write statement because police spokesman already published an investigative finding. So he's refusing to write a statement right now.
Well, good morning. I'd like to say this. Well, that's an angle to the story, but first thing I'd like to ask myself, like every other Nigerian, is that if you call yourself an activist, is that how an activist is someone who is trying to preach the gospel of good behavior to other persons in society, and he uses a means that is most logical and most legal in doing so. And Seun Kuti, like the family, uses music in preaching the acts of activism for a better society. I do not know the level of provocation because I saw that video. I do not know the level of provocation and drunkenness of a police officer or shame to try and prove to Nigeria that he's bigger than Nigeria and the law. I'd like to let you know that once you have gone against the law and its precepts, whatever is gone against you, you must be willing to take it in good faith. Well, thanks to God that he can have a legal luminary, Femi Falana, who is going to be standing for him in court. Well, I think he deserves what he gets. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you were bashed, I believe a piece of metal is not as important as a human being. Car is still a piece of metal, and the importance a car is not as important as a human being. And if you saw that video, the young man in question, the policeman in question, actually put his hands backward, saying that I am not interested in. So a drunken person will have done so, it's because Nigeria does not use a jury system where the jury actually sits to decide how a case is to be judged. I get you. It's not going to be an argument between two persons who were not there. Jury should have been able to. I would have probably advocated that we have a jury system where the person who didn't go to school at all will say, "Hey, Ribo se baliti ko soro, baliti pada, exactly log baliti pada." Do you understand what I'm saying? It's really very, very appalling that someone that people have listened to his music to say, "Oh, he's taking the footsteps of his father." I don't think his father was ever once disobedient to the law as to being handcuffed. Okay? If you slap, see, there is something in science, though I'm not a scientist, they say an action receives an equal and opposite reaction. But whether that reaction will be more than what you expected is what we don't know. And as a spokesperson, there's a law would say, and I'd like to quote it here. It says you have a right, you have the right of action, but you don't have the right to decide the reaction.
All right.
You have the right of speech, but you don't have the right to decide the response. Understand what I'm saying? So yes, so he has shown a right to slap, but he does not have a right to decide the reaction of the people he has slapped. He slapped a man in uniform. He slapped the government. He didn't just slap a human being. He slapped authority. He slapped protocol. He slapped everything. He's going to be used as a scapegoat for the people who slap police officers on the road.
Okay, and even yesterday, after after that, I mean, when he submitted himself to the Nigerian police, so many videos, emanated where he boasted that will not be. I mean, it's not the first time that he will slap a police officer. So maybe that alone has already nailed him to the cross.
Well, we'll have to let the courts decide.
Did you hear that?
Say that again, please.
Dr. Konas, you
hear my Yoruba?
I know Victor cannot understand.
I don't know what you are
Victor cannot understand.
Let me explain it like this. It's like when I was in school, there used to be that thing, Timba Shele Sheko, anything Shele. Nobody will ask for you. There was that cliche that I am the de facto. If I do it, nothing will happen. Now he has done this one. Let's see whether this one will be like the ones he's always been doing.
A deterrent.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the Isame Cook style of thinking is that Timba Shake or anything Shele, Mashe, like Otishele, something like that. You understand? Let's see whether this one will be like that. It is all of us who slapped.
All right, Dr. Cornerstone.
Because if not for actually, on the other hand, if not actually for the type of behavior of some police officers, a police officer is somebody you're supposed to see on the street, and some form of chills will come to your body. You know what I'm saying? But you see, with the way the police officer, I remember I was in Lagos last week, and two police officers heard me that I was taking one way. Checked the whole place about the structure of the one way is not there. And I asked the police officer, Oga, can you see me? He said, no, I won't see me. I said, you know why I'm asking you this question? I said, it's word for word. The reason I'm asking you is that when did a federal police officer start asking people for streets and for traffic law? Do you know who you are? You are a federal government person. This is Lagos State. Lagos State has rules and laws for, and you are not one of the people defending it. Say, okay, be going. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about another story, Dr. Coniston. Let's hold a thought on that one. The U.S. slams visa ban on Nigerians, undermining democracy. Now, we've seen this report yesterday, Anthony Blinken talking about those who interfered with the electoral process via rigging or voter oppression would be faced with visa ban. However, no name was listed or reported. Do you think there's a reason why the names of the people who would be facing this visa ban is being withheld?
I do not know the name of the persons. Well, in past, the American government will probably go ahead and name such. I think they also playing some form of diplomacy, because remember, Chimamanda Adichie wrote a letter to them that was actually very, very fantastic. So probably that's a way of them responding to say that, well, those people who made the elections clinical will face that gun. But the question we want to ask that for the very fact that someone is getting don't travel to the USA ban, so to say, does that reverse the election results that even the people who came from there to come and monitor the election said it's a sham? That's the question we want to ask ourselves. Does it change the outcome of the election? Does this ban help us to secure court decisions for the people who have been fully robbed? Does this decision help to step voter suppression in the future? Does this one help us to say, okay, someone was campaigning and said so and so? It's because I like him, or if not, I will have driven him away from my backyard. He's in my backyard. Why not go to his state? Will this challenge of saying we are removing these people from coming to America? America is only protecting itself against such bad persons. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, America, using their foreign policy, our foreign policy is strong. You will not destroy your own country and come to our country to hide. You are a bad man. That's what America is. America is still in a way protecting its own self against these bad persons. You know what I'm saying? So we should also know that a nation that decides to implode is the worst form of destruction that can happen. And how do you implode? You allow this person. If America can see them to name, Nigeria has not seen them to name. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're following up.
America has seen these persons, but is still probably gathering the names. They might publish it later to name. But Nigeria, where they have done the infraction, Nigeria is still parading them as the big boys to follow. There are governors among them. There are even presidential candidates among them. I so much understand. But you see, they are still our lords.
But some do say that. Some do say that. You know, sometimes. Sorry, Dr. Cornerstone.
They are still the one that will tell you, don't tell it. There's nothing that will happen. They are still the ones speaking for us here.
Dr. Cornerstone.
So yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just come in here. When you talk about naming names, and you know, there are times that US, UK will say they want to announce names, and at the end of the day, they step it down. Remember, some years back, we heard reports that there was an investigation that revealed people sponsoring, Boko Haram in Nigeria, and those names were not announced till date.
Well, I'd like you to know that, it's only in Nigeria that, based on what is happening at the courts right now, let me use an inference from that concerning the LP. There is a faction in the LP, some saying that we are the original ones. The other one says we are not the original ones. It's only in Nigeria that an indictment is seen as being culpable. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, those ones, they know what it means to have done an investigation, and the investigation is tinted towards panning out those people that the government wants to punish without cause. They will drop it. You get what I'm saying? And number two, you have to understand that the position of the UK is that if the man is the one doing himself, you leave him to himself. Listen to me. Most of those names that were to be published, most of them are government persons. They are government functionaries. They are already enjoying some form of legal backing relating to inability to prosecute that we are talking about now that will take forth for as from May 29 about the person that will be sworn in. And you know the name is called? No, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, well,
yes,
we
we can hear you.
And so the thing that it's called is that there is a form of immunity that this person enjoys. So once he enjoys immunity, you couldn't touch him. Why bother to publish a name? There's no need to publish anything, sir. So that's the kind of nation we're in. A nation progresses when the people inside of it do everything that is possible within its means, legal means, to bring it about its own prosperity. When the ones that are at the helm of affairs are unassailable, there are people you cannot reach. There are people that are the first citizens, they are the best citizens, and every other person is relegated to second-class citizens. What else do you want a sovereign nation to do for you, sir? They can do whatever they do is for the purpose of protecting themselves against you. For example, what happens concerning the issue of the man who has been the man that has been so respected in Nigeria to the level of a Senate vice president? Go there right now, and then you can see the law and the way a judgment was passed from him. Within 6 months, everything taken care of, not for the protection against Nigeria, for Nigeria, against its people. They have used him to teach their own people a lesson.
Well,
you understand me? So if somebody of that nature, hello, Sam, let me through. If somebody of that nature does not have a hiding place in the UK, and if we just imagine if our laws were also treated towards that a judge will give a decision and he will still be able to sleep. If it was in Nigeria, that case would not have held. You get the courtroom will have been locked. I get what I'm saying. Yeah. The judge will have been running for his dear life right now. But in a nation that they understand that when law is important, law has to enjoy supremacy for the nation to progress. That's what you enjoy. That's what you get. Just you and I know that that more.
I'm with you.
No.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You and I know that you and I know that if I slap you and there was nothing to show that you slapped me, once somebody sees my car, you are already the one that is to blame.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yes, we do.
I didn't say evidence. Listen, I said if I slapped Dakpo, he listening to me, and Dakpo did not record where I slapped him. Once anybody comes around and sees the type of car I brought, Dakpo was the one that was guilty.
Because of the kind of car you brought, right?
You brought that, yes. This is a country where the type of car you brought and it then determines whether you're the one that will get the contract.
It's okay.
It's okay now. That's the way to say it. Really. It's okay. You understand me? Mr. Richard, hello?
Yes, sir.
As phonetically endowed as you are, just make sure you are related to the people in power. You will be the one that is the MC for Asorok.
I mean, with what you're saying now, things are done the wrong way, things are not done the proper way.
Okay, I can't say it better.
It is what it is.
There's really nothing like things are done the wrong way. It's about things are done the favoritism way in Nigeria. Not wrong. Because if it's wrong, it means there's a law that is showing you that this is the way it's wrong. It's the favoritism way. Once you have the person to support you, you are the rightest. If there's an English like that.
All right, let's check out some tweets in that regard. Frayo says, Blinken should remember that many of the so-called election riggers are either U.S. citizens, 2, they have dual nationality, or are legally holding the green card. Is the U.S. going to strip them of their citizenship or revoke their green card? That's another angle to look at it.
And at a black man, Dr. Conneston, please let me just take these tweets before you make your reactions now. So this one says, we need to know the names, not just by saying they have been banned We need names. List their names so we can know who and who were banned from the US. Also, the banning should be applicable to the spouses and children. If US is sincere, they should do it that way.
Why would the child bear the sins
That
of his
person
father?
asking that question, sir. Sir, that person asking that question, there's a way to answer him. Ooh, you know why you answer him like that? You know why you answer him like that, sir? Has the US become your justice system?
The US is the one
So,
issuing
The information
No,
and maybe we call it a threat.
The USA has not become the justice system for Nigeria. USA is still using its foreign policy to make sure infiltrators don't enter its own land. It is we that will have to strengthen our justice system and every other system requiring to be strengthened for a better Nigeria. All these persons you are saying, name their names so that we will know them, so that we can start doing media trial on them. If you want to try anybody, his name, you know that he has actually done any infraction relating to the democracy we are all trying to nurture, the law should be able to take them.
All right, Dr. Conister,
I
let's
want to let
end
you know
on...
that as I speak to you right now, the voter suppression that happened in this election had never happened before. This was an election where some places, election voting started at 4 p.m. because some people felt some perceived candidates will have better voting power from those areas. None of those things are tried in our court. None of those things are being discussed for any form of law to be able to remedy them. The Senate is not doing anything. All the Senate is doing is who will become the next president, who will become the most important persons now in the House. My brother, a nation only pass to the level it takes is more serious.
Fair enough. Let's end on a very lighter note with the excitement and jubilation that happened in Lagos, Nigeria yesterday, with Hilda breaking the record and also outdoing, herself. She initiated she initially wanted to hit a record of 96 hours for an individual cooking marathon, but she decided to extend it to 100 because of
small pepper.
Jara on top.
To make it 100 hours, 45 minutes thereabout, beating the record of 87 hours.
My only fear now, I can't lie to you, my only fear now is this. Richard, this is from my heart.
Okay.
A nation truly enjoys the results of the image that its leaders visit.
Please go over that again.
A nation and the people in it actually enjoys or suffer the image that its leaders, especially its political leaders, bestow on it. I'm praying that when Guinness World Record decides to go through those videos, Nigeria will not happen to it. That's not my prayer. Because you are as good, you are as respected as the level of image that your leaders portray on you. So I just pray that when Guinness does its verification, yes, we will be very assured that what was done there is okay, because you cannot be better than the image your leaders bestow on you. The nation where people cut corners is already very clear. The nation where the majority of leaders put in the wrong people in power is already an international body for Nigeria. So there's already a bias concerning whatever is done in Nigeria. This is the only nation where if you are going to Kenya here, you will have to get visa. So imagine you traveling to Japan and you have to submit your passport. You have to submit your details and your documents 4 months at a time in order for you to be investigated. So we already have a bias concerning Nigeria. This lady has worked, her team has worked to be able to achieve that feat, but we just pray that the current Nigeria will not happen to the aftermath.
Fingers crossed. Let's just keep an optimistic perspective to this. We're really just excited about what she's done, especially with bringing Nigerians together.
It's not Nigerians, some Nigerians. Because what brings Nigeria together should be true politics and political governance that is geared towards the prosperity of all.
Dr. Conister will definitely go back to politics. I mean, that's the bedrock of everything.
It brought all of us together.
Yeah.
No, it brought a lot of us together what brings all of us together is the progress that brings a better standard of living for all of us.
I couldn't agree anymore. We must say thank you to you, Dr. Cornerstone, for quite a great analysis this morning on some of the trendy stories. All right. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday.
Okay, Dr. Cornerstone is a public affairs analyst, and he has been able to, shed a light on some of the headlines here. Well, we still have more tweets to, to check this morning to read out. But remember, you can also send us a WhatsApp or SMS straight to 0904 422 2939. 0904 422 2939. In case you want to call in, you can call the phone lines
0909 888 9939 or 0912 222 2939. If you'd love to react to any of the stories we've analyzed or some of the stories that made the headlines this morning, call in to the studio and let's hear your thoughts, because your voice matter. 0909 888 9939 or 0912 222 2939. All right, the message here from Emmanuel says visa ban is a waste of time. That can cure the injury because they will go to France and UK, which is willing to accept them. Example, Tinubu is in France now, relaxing, and okay, I'll have to leave.
No, because that information, you must be sure of the information you're passing across, right? So,
all right, I'll still take more tweets right here. Quite an impressive one. Have they imposed any sanction on those that rigged their own election? Forget the US and the West. Their hypocrisy and double standard will be a boomerang on them. People are now saying that the US is not actually an ideal place to go to. So if the US are restricting, the electoral violators from coming, it's not exciting news, because even the US are plagued with some of these issues that we're dealing
irregularities,
here.
Right?
Yeah, so dealing here.
I feel for people saying that, I wouldn't want to say it's not US is not an ideal place for Nigerians to go to, or for people to go to. Why are people still seeking for visas to go to US? Do you know some people apply for visa for over 3 years, and as soon as they get a visa, like, they share testimonies. So what are you?
Share testimonies.
Yeah, they share testimonies.
God.
Finally my visa got. I've gotten my visa, and for those who are even going for interviews at the embassy. But here is it: when you have a good system, when you have a good country, I don't see any reason you have to rush yourself to travel. I mean, if you see people in the US, UK, Canada, mention names of the G7 countries. Some of Germany, they don't want to leave their countries because the country is good enough for them. And I have someone who has spent over 20, 30 years outside the shores of, most especially Germany. And he's saying he's not ready to come back to Nigeria because he wants to retire. And as soon as he's done retiring, he can come back home because he'll be getting his retirement, stipend.
Benefits.
And as of now, he's not working, but he's getting small money in his account to eat. So now tell me, pensioners in this country, how much are they earning? You see most of them, queue up for their pension to get pay. And some of them even die while queuing up. So if you have a good country, you don't need to even travel. If you see some of those people in those countries, if they are coming down to Africa, they just want to come spend holiday and, return. If you look at people in South Africa, I mean, when you look at football, for example, let me just use sports as an example. It's very hard for you to see players in South Africa, players in Algeria, Egypt, North African countries, Tunisia. They prefer to play for their their clubs in their country. And that is why you always see them, thrive when they get to Africa Cup of Nations, when they get to the FIFA World Cup, because these people, they've gelled, they know how how they've been able to play together. So people now saying that you want to travel. If USA says they are banning Nigerians from coming to their country, so be it. But first is, let us make Nigeria better first, and make people always want to say, yes, I'm giving back to Nigeria, and I'm also earning from what I'm giving back to Nigeria. For example, look at, we're talking about the Japa syndrome. The Nigerian doctors, leaving the shores of the country. Now there's a headline on almost all the pages, the Nigerian newspapers, from The Nation to Punch, talking about Nigerian doctors going on strike on Wednesday, beginning 5-day warning strike. So imagine a doctor that is going on strike. If he has an opportunity from the US, he will go. If he has an opportunity from Vietnam, because if you look at, they will tell you that, okay, this is how much you earn, and you check Twitter, you see the way they are also encouraging people, to leave the country. Maybe what we'll also say is, look at what happened to Ike Kuremadu. Maybe after serving his jail time, I don't see him returning to UK.
To do what?
Oh. So that is what we're saying here. So, but first is maybe if they say that you look at the election, even Donald Trump even had to come out during the election, the one he lost. He said the election was tampered with. So there's no way that there won't be election malpractice.
Yes, agitators will always come out as the cause of elections. We've not seen that never happen in the Nigeria polity. I also want to would like to think that Nigerians as well should issue visual ban to people. Donald Trump, for instance, who had made defamatory statements regarding Nigeria, he should be issued a visa ban not to come into.
Can Nigerian government even ban U.S. citizens
that's
from coming to the country?
Interesting angle to it.
Let's even look at it. Maybe very soon, maybe in years to come, that can happen. That is if you have good GDP, if you produce and not overconsume, and we have a good system. An example is, if we talk about election now, look at Turkey. Now the election, they have a runoff election for May 28th. When I was looking at the process of that election, the Erdogan has spent more years as a president of the country, and they don't have to form oppositions to face Erdogan, and a lot of political analysts have already said that this election may go on runoff, and this is like a system that, okay, if you want to win election or you want to face, you want to be an opposition, you must be an opposition that is ready to also face the current government. And for May 28th, maybe this, it should surely be the citizens that will decide who governs. And should Erdogan wins this election, he will surely continue where there might be protests. But the question is, what has Erdogan done in Turkey? And look at how Erdogan has also gone out of his way to speak to the president of Russia, trying to meddle, trying to settle things between Russia and Ukraine. So the kind of government you have also determines what the citizens want at the end of the day. And the oppositions, are they also just trying to come together to say they want to take over the government? With what plan do they have? To also say the citizens of the country will surely enjoy and see the difference between the current government and the incoming one. So if anybody's saying Nigerians will be banned, well, fine, but depends on how you look at it. Now, still looking at some other headlines here. I know if you look at the inflation, you look at the headlines in the Nation newspaper. NBS puts April inflation rate at 22.22%. There's no way that there won't be inflation. I was looking at the way gas was going up, gradually. I know Nigerians, maybe we say that Nigerians always, there's a way we always balance things. There's a way we always go with the flow. We just hope that the incoming government, I also don't think it will be very fast for the rate of inflation, to drop with the way things are. Most especially,
no.
And the rate of borrowing.
And that's why Kunjo-Iweala is advising the incoming government to focus more on settling debt as opposed to more borrowing, because if we continue with more borrowing, then we might have to sell the polity, which has been speculated on social media. It's even been alleged that the country has been sold, but of course that is not the case. So the incoming government has a lot on their plate to do, and that's why it's also advised that whoever is coming into that system in any capacity to serve should be someone who is competent and who understand how we can move this country to the next level. Otherwise, we'll keep going back and back and back,
making
and things will keep deteriorating.
So it may look like, okay, maybe we take one step forward, 9 steps backwards.
The question is, which step forward have we taken? We just have in 20 headlines,
you will find 17 that are not appealing, and maybe 3 that is, appealing. Just like today, the only exciting news that you can see is that of Hilda breaking the record. Is there any other exciting news on the Niger? It's heartbreaking. It is.
You know what I'm trying to do right now? I'm just trying to look at, some soothing headlines.
That's the thing. It shouldn't.
But unfortunately,
it shouldn't. Our news are saddled with a lot of bad stories, bad reports.
Well, I believe that things can still change. And you took a particular headline earlier, which was, I think, was it Saraki, saying that outgoing governors should not meddle with the incoming
the
governors.
affairs. Yes, should not meddle with the affairs of the incoming government. I mean,
well, it depends. If the outgoing governor, anointed the incoming governor, but if the outgoing governor lost to the opposition,
yeah.
I don't see any. I don't see any
But even
reason
if there's
the outgoing
if,
governor
let
will.
me borrow your word. If it was a case of being anointed or being chosen by the outgoing governor, you still shouldn't meddle, especially if it's not in a positive regard, because your tenure is over, and right now the person who is coming in has new plans, has new structures they want to set up. You can't now tell them do it this way or do it the other way.
An example is, because I still see something. Look at what happened in Edo State when Adams Oshiomhole, handed over to the current governor. What was his name now? Godwin Obaseki. Before he had to, jump to the opposition PDP. There was this relationship, but it got to a stage that, the former governor was choking Obaseki. Now, I also foresee such happening in River State, because Ubara was anointed by Nyesom Wike. And you know how powerful Nyesom Wike is. Not only in River State, look at what he was able to do with the G5. So, it shows that, one, if you say that there's no longer Godfatherism in politics, I'll say no. We still have Godfatherism, because
that's something.
That is one you cannot take off. But the only thing is, maybe with the advice, just allow the governor do his his job. Maybe if he now beckons on you as a former governor. So yes, let's see how this can happen. We've seen such happen in Bayelsa. The sitting governor had to bring the former governors, despite from the opposition, to commission projects and the likes. And maybe another reason some of the outgoing governors will not meddle in the affairs of the sitting governor is if such ex-governors are appointed, in different minister. I mean, they are given ministerial appointments. Maybe they won the senatorial seat, so they'll have to focus on that instead of focusing on the state governor. I mean, the man they imposed or the anointed for the people in the state.
Well, let's hope that that's not the case. I mean, also meddling would also involve seeking political or public offices for people they had promised.
Yes.
So, you now come meet your successor and say to them, oh, I promised this person this position. However, this person had people in mind also when he was pursuing office, and that becomes a distraction of some sort. So let's hope that that's not the case. Very soon we'll be joined by, medical practitioners that will be speaking to us on hypertension as we commemorate the World Hypertension Day tomorrow. This is a conversation we certainly should have, because with some of the things happening and people's experiences, you hear cases of blood pressure, low and high, at different cases. So we want to talk about this so that people who might be faced with it will know how best to handle it, how to seek treatment, and ultimately how to avoid it, because it's a killer disease and they call it the silent killer.
Okay, so let's check some tweets out from some of the major stories we have this morning. Let's start. Let's continue. But that headline of Seun Kuti assault, why Seun Kuti was handcuffed, forced PRO. And Olumuyiwa Adejobi, that's the Nigerian Police Force public relations officer. He was able to clear the air. He said, "It seems you are not familiar with the detention with this question. Anyway, it is normal procedure before detention. the Inspector General of Police IGP Usman Kali Baba, ordered Seun's arrest after a video of the musician, assaulting a policeman surfaced online. Now let's check some reactions, concerning that. This morning, Akionla Ridwan Oluwasegun on Twitter says, "You have started again. Now so you doing, Papa." Okay, and Bernie _ Lacrim says, "Why cuff a person who turned himself in to the police? This is funny though. We know our police isn't working, so they should stop the drama." Okay, we've got more tweets, but let's look at another, story with another tweet here this morning before we go on a break and bring in our guest. But okay, so there's this, because Kuti slapped a police officer is to be arraigned, but police officers who gunned down victims, molested victims, never got arraigned. Is there something I don't know? This is coming from Glory's Days at Neon 53495134.
Now that's another angle to look at it. However, we've seen, the cases of police brutality. We've seen some of these men arrested. What we don't know is the prosecution processes, because at the end of the day, they might still be going trial in court. Was it not a couple of days ago we spoke about the number of persons who are still awaiting trial in court? So we don't have a finalized case on some of the cases on police brutality. However, nobody deserves to be assaulted, be it a police man or a citizen of the country. And nobody is going to applaud Seun's behavior. It was vile, it was uncouth, and we just have to wait for the court to decide what happens afterwards.
All right, let's go to break, and when we return, we turn our attention to another issue on the show this morning, but still celebrating Ida, right?
Yes.
Remember the song by Lagbaja Puta Wewe? Do you know the song?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I know you enjoy this.
Ìjẹ̀bú ọmọ alárẹ̀ dẹ́nà péjú ètè kọ́kọ́ rẹ̀.
And Gary, morning, afternoon, and night.
Wàrà dẹ́nà dey joke with wàrà.
And Ẹ̀kọ́.
Èkìtì àlìmọ́nì Uyan.
You don't know. Yam 24 hours me.
Àlìmọ́nì Uyan. Count me out. Count me out. It's too wild. Try waiting.
Try.
Sleep for
no, not be that. No. Excuse me. You see, colonialism makes you think that bread and butter is better than Gary.
I don't be colo. Bread and butter getting advantage.
Lie.
He gets.
Lie.
I say he gets.
Lie.
Oh, Baba, you no go on here.
Okay, tell me.
Bread and butter no go weigh you down.
That will not concern me. Don't concern me. You see now, dedicated men will eat sausage and bread every morning. They forget that a one moment tastes better.
Tó bá jẹ́ ti mọ́ínmọ́ín èmi wà fún yẹn. Àbí you sef like am?
Me, fella.
You like am?
You don't know. Just cut am, sham, shiri. Put am, bam. Straight. Yam.
They go finish am.
Rakata.
Papa.
You don't know. My name is Fela.
Give me better food to shop. Hey, I put down where. African man not the shop is small, shiri. Hey, I say big man concern. Normally, I know they shop plenty, but make you not come think say I dey
Okay, now look. You see, me I know one thing. You see, human beings may seem to be the same. No, but see, African is different from Europeans in the inner and cultural structure from the creator's ascendancy. Also, white man's food is white man's way, you know. The African way
93.9 FM
is different from white man's system.
Give me better food shop.
Alright, it's still the Remedy Dial, Solutions 93.9, Lagbaja with the song Putam. Well, of course you're listening to From the Dailies, and we, announced before now that we would be talking to a doctor as we get ready to commemorate the World Hypertension Day happening tomorrow, the 17th of May, 2023, and we already have our guest in the building.
Yes, we have with us Dr. Ademo Olusoya Omokorede. That's the Senior Registrar Cardiology Unit, UCH Ibadan. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I think I called the name right.
Yes, you did.
Yes, so Victory, don't worry.
It's great to have you join us. So tomorrow we're going to be celebrating the World Hypertension Day, I believe. So let's begin the conversation with hypertension that's been said to be a silent killer. Tell us about that.
Thank you very much. Hypertension, like you said, is a silent killer. It's killing millions and millions of people. Hypertension is killing more than combination of all cancers. So it's and like the term we use, hypertension is the show for face.
Just like HIV.
Just like HIV, the show for face. So by the time you start having the symptoms of hypertension, which we know as increased blood pressure beyond the normal values of about 130/80. So once you have blood pressures higher than that persistently, especially on 2 or more readings at least 6 hours apart, then you are hypertensive. And by the time you start having symptoms of hypertension, it's probably damaged a lot of organs. So it's a silent killer. Once it's on the upward trend, you might not have any signs, you might not feel anything, but by the time you start having symptoms, then it's way gone. So it's a silent killer.
So what are the causes of hypertension?
Hypertension has various causes, and it's common amongst with blacks. So I would like to say hypertension is more like a black man's disease. Because amongst we blacks, what we say scientifically that we are poor salt handlers. So we don't handle salt very well. We tend to keep a lot of salt in our body system. And when you keep salt in your body system, your blood pressure tends to actually go on the upward trend to increase. So you are prone to hypertension. So we blacks generally, we are poor salt handlers. So it's a black man's disease. So it's our disease. Among whites, hypertension doesn't come up as early and as frequently as it does. They have their own peculiar diseases. So being a black man is a cause of hypertension. So even if you bleach all your skin, you're still a black man. It's in the genes. So we have the modifiable, like the changeable causes and the non-changeable causes.
Okay.
So the non-changeable causes, the one I mentioned, being a black person, then if you have someone in your family, one grand aunt, your parents, your siblings, once they have any history of hypertension, you're also at risk of having hypertension. So that's another cause of hypertension. And if you're a male sex, a man is more at risk. So that's like, we use more risk factors actually. Let me use risk factors than causes. So there are risk factors of being hypertensive. And then the older you get, the higher your chances of having hypertension. Now we're going to say we'll not grow old again, of course, so it's not possible. So those are the risk factors or the things that can predispose you to hypertension. Then those are just some of the factors that you cannot change. And then women too, as they also grow older, especially after menopause, once they are postmenopausal, also their chances of having hypertension is also on the upward trend. Then the modifiable causes or modifiable risk factors. If you smoke, if you take alcohol, if you don't do exercise, if you eat a lot of fatty meals, if your job entails you just sitting down, sedentary lifestyle, you don't really walk around, your job is an active job. So these are just some of the risk factors. If you don't eat a lot of, if you don't eat healthy meals, you eat more of processed meals because
let me just cut in here. Healthy meals like
fruits and vegetables, less of processed meals. Because all these canned meals, all these processed meals, they have a lot of salt, they have a lot of Maggi. By the time you check all those canned meals, you check the sodium. Salt is sodium and chloride. By the time you check the sodium component of all this, they use a lot of salt to process and preserve the life of the meals. So they have a lot of salt. So eating a lot of canned meals is actually not healthy. So when you want to talk about healthy meal, a balanced meal that has fruits, you should take at least 3 portions of fruits and vegetables every day. So you eat fruits, you eat small proportion of all your meals. It's not by eating largely. So the proportion too is also part of of a healthy meal.
Okay, look at the data here. Thank you very much, doctor, for this. And looking at the data here, it says medical experts have also warned that no fewer than 76.2 million Nigerians are hypertensive, and that is according to the data concerning the year, in the year 2022 from Dr. Kingsley Akinruye. And he said the prevalence of hypertension is about 38.1% out of the average population of 200 million people. And you also made it clear that you started with men and to women. But here now, we also, according to reports, now scientists have also linked traffic noise to hypertension. Maybe we also said that, you said Nigeria, maybe because of what surrounds us. Victory was saying something earlier that we've not been able to see good news except the Hilda's story. And how do we make sure that this number drops? Because going further, we know for the next few months, years, there will surely be things that people would think, things people will go through. What do we do to make sure this number reduces?
Thank you very much. Awareness is one of the major ways to actually reduce the prevalence of hypertension. Once you're aware, I'm aware, everybody's aware that the risk is there. It's our disease, like I said earlier. It's our disease. It's not Ogwaye, it's not witches or wizards from the village. It's our disease. We would improve on our lifestyle. The prevalence is also on the upward trend because we're embracing Western lifestyle. So in the olden days, it's not as if they didn't used to have hypertension, but they didn't just sit down in the office from morning till night. They went to the farm. They were physically active. They used to eat a lot of fresh leaves, fresh vegetables, not the processed one that we're eating now. So the ways that we can actually reduce the prevalence now is to be aware that it's disease that is with us, then improve on our day-to-day activities and lifestyle. We need to exercise more. Most people, by the time you count how many steps they walk in a day, it's very minimal. So we need to walk. So instead of taking the lift, take the stairs. Instead of eating some processed foods, get fruits, get vegetables to snack on instead of
taking
snacks in between. Yes, so you can just get fruits. Even the fruits, don't even spoil it by putting some processed seasoning or sauces on it. No, eat it just raw like that. Because fruits, don't now put some cream that is high in sodium that will now worsen everything.
Raw salad.
Raw salad.
One of those of us that I just said us now. What of some of us that don't like salad? I don't do salad.
You have to try and do that because like I said, if you're aware of the risk, you take the extra effort to actually eat it.
Let's focus on the theme for the World Hypertension Day, which is measure your blood pressure accurately, control it and live longer. I know there's an instrument for measurement. I see most elderly people have this instrument, but I don't think a lot of them know how to use it. You see them calling your children to come test your blood pressure. And I think that's the purpose for this theme. We want to teach people how to use this instrument so that they can live longer. So let's talk about the instrument and how to accurately measure the number that determines if you have low blood pressure or a higher blood pressure.
Thank you very much. Yes, the theme is to actually measure your blood pressure. We have sfigs. In the olden days, it was much more difficult. You had the mercury sfig, which was more cumbersome and difficult for non-trained or non-skilled personnel to actually use to get the accurate readings. But now, if you go to good pharmacies, you get the automated ones that even any layman they just tell you attach the cuff and then take your blood pressure measurements. And the best time
What's
to actually...
the name of that device?
It's a sphygmanometer. There are different brands. I won't mention brands. So if you go to a good pharmacy, they'll give you a good one that you just apply the cuff to your hand and then it will measure automatically. There are even some that will even record the values such that even if you want to remember, okay, it's there. You can even get books to also write. But we also advise that when you want to take your blood pressure measurements, it's best taken in the morning when you wake up. That's a true reflection of your blood pressure. And because most cardiovascular accidents associated with hypertension, there's most complications associated with hypertension occur in the morning. So you just, if you have the machine at home, you measure it, and the target, we want it to be less than 130/80. That's a tighter guideline or protocol, because we blacks, we are prone to complications, so it's a strict control that we prefer to actually use. So measure in the morning, get good machines, measure appropriately. If your batteries are low, change your batteries as soon as possible, especially if you're getting wrong readings persistently, and then 6-second opinions if you don't know how to use the machines appropriately.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. So just to conclude this morning, what are your advice to those listening regarding hypertension, how to handle it, and ultimately staying clear of it at all?
Thank you very much. One thing I would say is, if you have been told that you're hypertensive, hypertension is not like malaria that will go. Hypertension is something you treat for life. So if you are placed on medications and then you realize that, oh, my blood pressure is fine, I'm not going to take any drug again, there's a possibility that if you check down the line, it's going to cause you more harm than good. So even if you are placed on drugs for hypertension, it's advisable you take your drugs for life with appropriate follow-up and drug adjustments by your doctor. If you have family history of hypertension, you know your risk is there. You cannot change your genes, you cannot change your families. You're not a determinant of your risk. So you know the possibility of you having hypertension is there. So what you can do to delay or prevent yourself from having it is by living a very healthy life, exercise, make sure you are not obese, you don't take alcohol, you don't smoke, you eat healthy, so that you live a healthy lifestyle to see if it can help to delay the onset of hypertension. And then it's also important that even if you don't have any family history or any risk anywhere, it's important to check your blood pressure at least once a year, if you are, especially if you are above 40. But age is not even a point ahead, because we have people that are as young as 16, 17 that also have hypertension. So make sure you check your blood pressure irrespective of your age. Check your blood pressure every year. And then if you are told you're hypertensive, you take your drugs for life.
Okay, I mean, like George just said, like, check it. Check out more, just like, you know, we're talking about tuberculosis. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on the program this morning. And we hope that very soon we'll bring you to talk more and, you know, to raise the awareness again. That's, you know, heard the voice of Dr. Ademo Lusonya Omokorede, the Senior Registrar, Cardiology Unit, UCH Ibadan. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right, so from here, we go on a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up. Good morning, Ibadan.
For this Naija wey we dey so, say you no hold cash no mean say wahala dey o. You wan send money to Male for Villa, Just use Momo. You want buy recharge card or data plus jollificate 15% bonus when you recharge? Just use Momo. You want pay for market where you buy? Just use Momo. You fit use Momo run plenty things without cash. As long as you get Momo account, no cash, no wahala. And it dey easy to open. Just dial *671# to open Momo account. Set your PIN. Transfer money from your bank account inside your Momo account to make you fit dey pay for anything. Send and receive money sharp because life dey simple with Momo. You go jollificate 15% bonus anytime you recharge with Momo.
Saleko is the jungle. Everyone does what they must to survive.
Gangs of Lagos don land for Prime Video and na the #1 film, so make una go watch am. E get better stars like Toby Bakri, Adesuwa Tomi Wellington, Chike, Iyabo Ojo and more. Plus the gege action wey dem do for the film. Chai! Na for only Prime Video you fit watch Gangs of Lagos, and dem go first give you 7 days free trial. Terms and conditions dey o. Oya, japa to Prime Video.
Mommy!
Yes, daughter?
Why is it that almost everyone in my school comes with Sumo candies and biscuits? I just want to know.
Yes, darling. It's because Sumo food is amazing and simply the best.
Yes, Mommy. Even the Sumo wafers and the chewing gum that you've always given to us are extremely delicious and captivating.
Hello, everyone. Here's your bread. Of course, it's yellow bread.
Wow!
Thanks, my dear. We always enjoy Jolly bread. For your biscuits, wafers, candies, chewing gum, and bread.
Sumo Foods, love at first bite.
Sumo Foods, love at first bite.
Hello, sir. Do you mind if I interview you quickly?
No. I don't get
Just
time.
a quick one, sir. If you get 1 million naira right now, what would you...
You said? First of all, hey, I go share this my phone. After that, I will come buy red bars, you understand? Then I'll come work well. Come block my landlord main office, see my status. God declare for the boys there. Levels all love you that.
Take off on a billionaire level and do as you like with the FCMB Millionaire Promo Season 9 by increasing your savings account balance by 10,000 naira and keeping it for 30 days in your FCMB account. And if you're a new customer, deposit 10,000 naira into your account and keep it for 30 days. And you could be one of the winners of ₦1 million and other amazing cash rewards. Approved by NLRC and FCCPC. FCMB, my bank and I.
Your comfort is important. If you're looking for quality, classy, comfortable, and imported furniture, Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise is a place for you. At Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, we've got a wide range of top-notch imported furniture for you at affordable prices. Name it: sofas, royal marble dining set, executive furnitures of all kinds, banquet furniture, bed and dressing mirror, kitchen cabinet, and lots more. Our intention is to make you feel comfortable always by providing quality furniture, whether at home, office, hotel, lounge and bar, and so on. Hurry now. Contact us today at Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, shop number AA 80-20, Railway Shopping Complex, Aleshiloye Market, and shop 8A-11, Railway Shopping Line, by Alalubosa Junction, Iyagonku Railway Crossing, Ibadan. Call 0802-303-0550 or 0706-225-2649. Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, home of quality furniture made for you.
Alright, it's still the Remedy Dial Solutions 93.9, exactly 10 minutes to the top of the hour, and we've had quite an engaging and interesting time reviewing the newspapers as well as breaking down the stories into analysis, and also an interview on hypertension as we get ready to commemorate the World Hypertension Day tomorrow. I believe you've listened to the doctor and you put everything she said into practice, so ultimately we can live a healthy life void of low blood pressure or high blood pressure. With that, it's a wrap on AM Updates this morning. We'll be back tomorrow with more interesting stories that made the front pages of our Nigerian newspapers. My name is Victory Richard. I hope you have a great Tuesday as you continue with your work. Here is Wako
Adekunle Gold, as I sign off this morning. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Double your work, anything where you want to, you go get them if you want. Stop living fake life. Ororo no be good boy, pussycat no be tiger, monkey at the chimpanzee. Walk you, but I no be for monkey oh. You wanna have a big boy, swagger on je vole oh. Walk you. Walk you, watch your go to feed your body, walk you, or any mura see you, walk you, watch your go to feed your body, walk you. You say you want expensive shit, over my bar away with you where you never amount, over my bar one brother, you go rock and run down. Paddy me double your hustle, respect yourself, oh. Stop living fake life. Ororo no be good boy, pussycat no be tiger, monkey at the chimpanzee. Walk you, but I no be for monkey oh. You wanna have a big boy, swagger on je vole oh. Walk you, or me te pa moche oh. Walk you. To feed your body, walk you, or any mura see you, walk you, watch your go to feed your body, walk you. Now you can go see for club, drinking water, you want to my water, see oh, the road down, now only you can make him out every time. Say you get it this way, your money no fit buy. Stop living fake life. Ororo no be good boy, pussycat no be tiger, monkey at the chimpanzee. Walk you, but I no be for monkey oh. You wanna have a big boy, swagger on je vole oh. Walk you, or me te pa moche oh. Walk you, watch your go to feed your body oh. Walk you, or me mura see you oh. Walk you, watch your go to feed your body oh. Walk you. Hustle no fit to kill anybody oh. Hustle.
Fẹ́rẹ̀ torí rẹ̀ láyé òkúyọ̀ lórọ́pọ̀ èèyàn tó ń fẹ́rẹ̀ rí kọ́ lórí. Gbogbo ẹni fẹ́rẹ̀ torí rẹ̀ láyé òkúyọ̀ lórọ́pọ̀ èèyàn tó ń fẹ́rẹ̀ rí kọ́ lórí. Gbogbo ẹni fẹ́rẹ̀ torí rẹ̀ láyé òkúyọ̀ lórọ́pọ̀ èèyàn tó ń fẹ́rẹ̀ rí kọ́ lórí.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sí abala Secure Your Future Group International.
Rẹ̀ láyé òkúyọ̀ lórọ́pọ̀ èèyàn tó ń fẹ́rẹ̀ rí kọ́ lórí.
Àjọ yìí kí ni wọ́n gbé dání ń bẹ̀? Financial education ni wọ́n gbé dání. Èyí ò ní wípé ọlọ́léèwé alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọlọ́ primary ọlọ́ secondary ọlọ́ colleges of education ọlọ́ polytechnic ọlọ́ university gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ wọ̀nyí ọtí kọ káàkiri. Bó o ti wá ń gbìyànjú lórí àti jẹ́yàn nídìí ìwé yìí ó wá kú bó ti sọ ẹ̀kọ́ ìwé ọ̀hún bó ti sọ dowó ó kú bó ti sọ dọ̀rọ̀ ó kú bó ti sọ ẹ̀kọ́ ìwé bó ti sọ di ìjẹ́yàn nínú ayé. Òun ní àjọ Secure Your Future Group International wà fún.
Gbogbo ẹni fẹ́rẹ̀ torí rẹ̀ láyé òkúyọ̀ lórọ́pọ̀ èèyàn tó ń fẹ́.
Kíwé yẹn lè bá wúlò fún ẹ lájọ yìí ṣe ń pè ọ́ ṣàkíyèsí lásìkò yìí. Secure Your Future tá à ń sọ yìí àwọn ni wọ́n mẹ́ńtọ̀ rẹ lórí bó o ti lè sọ̀wé dọ̀rọ̀ láì ní múni sìn pínpín.
Gbogbo ẹni fẹ́rẹ̀ torí rẹ̀ láyé òkúyọ̀
wọn ò pé wá ṣe sogúdogójì sogúdà àádọ́ta o. àwọn financial plan téèyàn máa ń ní fún gbèsè ayé ẹ̀ tí ó já sí pé béèyàn bá sí mọ́ gan ọmọ téèyàn bá bí yóò tó máa jèrè ẹ̀ lọ ní láyé àbádà láìsí pé ó ń kiri ògò kiri láìsí pé ọmọ wa máa wọ̀nyẹn túláàsì ládùúgbò pé àdẹ́dẹ̀dẹ́dẹ́ ẹ wá jẹ́ down chain mi. àsìkò àti máa rówó ń ṣẹ́rè dípò kówó máa lálàsé rẹ káàkiri àdúgbò àsìkò àti rówó ń ṣẹ́rè o owó rẹ lè máa ṣiṣẹ́ fún ọ lásìkò yìí tí ó tó máa ṣiṣẹ́ kalẹ̀ dọ́mọ rẹ àrọ́mọdọ́mọ rẹ owó rẹ ó máa ṣiṣẹ́ kalẹ̀ fún ọ. intajọ Secure Your Future Group International tápẹ́ ọwọ́ ajá àǹfààní rè irúfẹ́ àǹfààní báyìí ẹni téèyàn bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ sílẹ̀ yẹn máa ń pè síbẹ̀. àjọ yìí ti ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àṣeyọrí lọ́dún tó kọjá wọ́n pín oúnjẹ fáwọn èèyàn nígbà òpin ọdún àwọn èèyàn wá ń nàgà wọ́n wá ń wò wọ́n wípé ìbò lẹ́yìn tí ń rówó tẹ̀ ń ná báyìí àbí àwọn kan ni wọ́n kó fún yín àbáwọn olóṣèlú kan ni àwọn àjọ yìí wá ní àwọn ò ní ìbáṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú olóṣèlú kankan àmọ́ ẹ mọ̀jà máa sọ ń kọ̀rọ̀ ẹjá fẹ̀ kan wá sórí rédíò ni wọ́n fi wá sórí rédíò láti wá tàgbàǹgbà tán gbé dání ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni wọ́n máa ń ṣe fáwọn èèyàn wọ́n wá máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ kan gbogbo ìgbà tí n bá ti wà lórí afẹ́fẹ́ ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí wọ́n máa ń ṣe ó níye tí wọ́n máa ń gbà ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n nígbà ń bá ti wà lórí afẹ́fẹ́ èèyàn ogún àkọ́kọ́ tó bá kọ́kọ́ text yes sórí nọ́mbà tí mo fẹ́ pè yìí ẹ má jẹ́ ń tàn yín wọ́n bá dẹni tí wọ́n ṣe é fún lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ bọ́ ọ bá ti ń gbọ́ mi lásìkò yìí sá máa text yes sí nọ́mbà yìí bọ́ ọ bá wà lára àwọn 20 àkọ́kọ́ mo kí ọ kú oríire máa text yes sórí 08100 575819 08100 575819 08100 575819. ìrírí wọn tán ti rí bàbá wọn sálárì ẹ̀nà ìyá wọn sálárì ẹ̀nà wọn wá rí i pé gbogbo lóònù tí wọ́n ń gbà gbogbo ọ̀kára wọn làwọn fi tètè wá wò ó wípé ẹjẹ́ mi ó tètè ta kọ́sọ́ kí n tètè sẹ́kùn ìṣẹ́ kí ìṣẹ́ má bàa sẹ́kùn ìṣẹ̀mí mi ìdájọ́ pàápọ̀ bá ṣe wí ni o bọ́ bá jẹ́ stúdẹ̀ǹtì àǹfààní ńlá ni fún ọ bọ́ bá jẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba máa bọ̀ wá bọ́ bá jẹ́ oníṣẹ́ owó tó jẹ́ oníṣòwò máa bọ̀ oníṣẹ́ oṣù máa bọ̀ máa text yes sórí nọ́mbà yìí 08100 575819 08100 575819 yes ní kò text síbẹ̀ yes 08100 575819. má procrastinate o torí procrastination tẹ́rí yẹn ni character assassination fún motivation má dàgbà sípò ṣe lọ́la tètè dìde fúyà báyìí kó o máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ àjọ Secure Your Future Group International tàbí kó o máa text yes sórí 08100 575819.